Hi everyone, I'm April, and you're watching The Tangled Cat Speaks, and this is a book edition. So it is now August 2026, and I did read a few books in July. One I DNF'd very quickly. So yeah, let's get started and see what it was that I read, and then we'll talk about what I'm planning to read now in August. So July for me was PI July, meaning I chose a book that involves a private investigator, and I went with Raymond Chandler. This is my second ever Raymond Chandler book in the Philip Marlowe series, and this one is called The Long Goodbye. Now, Philip Marlowe is the detective, the private detective, and he comes across this guy, down and out, drunk, just looking a lot worse for wear, and he ends up taking him to his own apartment, sobering him up, and in the meantime they're having these conversations that both annoy Marlowe as well as intrigue him. He's for some reason taken a little bit of a liking to this guy, even though he's irritated by him in a way. And he talks a lot about his wife and his military service and this, that, and the other thing. He just doesn't seem happy at all in the direction that his life is taking. But the guy gets sober-ish, and he's sent on his way, sent home or whatever. And then days later, or maybe it's weeks, I'm not sure how long. Anyway, he runs across this guy again because he comes knocking on his door, and he's got a bag packed, and he's like, I need you to take me. Is it the airport? I think it's the airport. He's like, I got a ticket, I gotta go. And he's like, what's going on? He's like, I gotta get out of the country. My wife is dead, and people think that I did it, and I just need to get out of here. I did not do it, blah, 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 blah. Marlowe believes him. Something in their previous conversation makes him believe, this guy is not going to kill his wife. And so he does. He takes him to the airport and, sends him off. He gets in trouble with the police. The police are, there is a bug. Anyways, the bug took my train of thought. So the police are questioning him. They're like, what do you mean you sent him to Mexico? Are you involved in this? Are you complicit in the murder of his wife? And he's like, no. So there's this whole, the police are watching him, and he's trying to find a way to prove that this guy did not kill his wife. And somehow these gangsters get involved, and now they're after him, and there's people shooting each other and all kinds of shenanigans. It's a very interesting story. It was fun. It was very of its time. What is this, in the 30s? 1953 is when it was written. But I don't know. I just really enjoyed this private investigator type of situation, and I do have several more. Actually, I have the whole series of Philip Marlowe series, and I am definitely going to keep reading them on PI July. So that was the first book that I finished. Let's talk about the book that I DNF'd. So I've been doing the holiday kind of a series by J. Sterling that are really, really short romances, and there's one a month. And the one for July, I got literally 12 pages in. Summer Lovin'. Now, the first 6 I had a decent time with. They were light, quick, kind of cutesy. very, very, very little bit of spice, and that's at the end. This one is involving a woman who has a business where she is called upon to help professional athletes who have been transferred to a team in the city that she lives, and her job is to help them find place to live and, you know, get their bearings within this new city since they've been transferred to this new team. And so she meets this guy. This is her new client, and right off the bat she's finding him very attractive, but she knows this is her job. She's not going to mix the two. But this guy comes at her, like I said, within the first 12 pages. Basically, hi, nice to meet you. What can I do for you? And he's like, hi, I want to do this nasty thing to you, and dirty, 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 and bleh. And it just felt like harassment. Like there was no introducing himself or trying to get to know her. There is that bug again. I hate bugs. Anyways, so it just went like immediately into just like gross dude hitting vulgar, being very vulgar with her the first instant that they meet. And she's like, I don't like this, but I kind of like this. And I don't know, it was very, very, it came off as creepy to me. It didn't come off as instant attraction. It just came off as creepy. And I did not want to find out the rest of what was going on. Like I say, I liked the other 6 where there was a little bit of a build up to it. Yeah, these books are very, very short and happen within a very short span of time. But at least there's a little bit of trying to get to know each other a little bit before the hot and heavy happens. And this was it just started off gross for me. And I'm like, I don't want to read that. So I DNF'd it. Hopefully the August book will be better. We'll talk about that one later. So let's talk about one I loved. I've mentioned several times that my favorite book of all time is Watership Down by Richard Adams, and I recently found a graphic novel version. This is actually quite heavy. Oh, it's beautifully illustrated, and you know, being that it is a graphic novel, yes, a lot of things are going to be cut from the original source material, the original novel. That's the nature of graphic novels. There's a little bit of dialogue, and a lot of the in-between stuff is kind of cut out, but the illustrations more than make up for it. It's just so beautiful, like beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love it. It keeps the integrity of the story, and it keeps the vibe of the story. You would think that someone who has read the original novel more than 12 times since I was 10 years old would not be fazed by it anymore. And no, there were a couple of times I put it down and had a good little cry and went right back into it. But yeah, it still hit me, and I'm still trying to figure out if that emotion is because I know the original novel so well, or because this hits just as hard as the original novel as its own thing. I don't know, but I do know that I loved it, and I'm going to cherish this just as much as I cherish the other ones. It's going to have its own little place on the bookshelf. Special book, and I very much enjoyed this, and I wish that everybody would read the original Watership Down. But if reading a bigger book is not for you, or you don't know that a book about rabbits and their travels in finding a new home is for you, then maybe the graphic novel is somewhere to start. But oh, I love this book. I love it. Oh, it's so good. And yeah, tears happened. This book I picked because Chantel Reads All Day here on YouTube had a prompt for July that was to read something that had, I believe, was it an animal or was it a map? Actually, it might have been the map, because this one does have a map at the very beginning. And so that might have been the prompt. I can't remember. So that's why I chose that book. But it involves the shenanigans of animals. And the other day, I was at my local library and I was picking up some DVDs because I have wanted to get into Studio Ghibli films, and I placed on hold as many of them that they had. And so I went to go pick up the ones that had come in. And while I was there, of course, I can't not wander through the stacks. And I have this thing where I'll go through the stacks and the only thing that I'm looking for is something super, super, super small. I'm not looking for a particular author or title, subject, genre, anything. I'm just looking for something super tiny. And I came across this thin little book. And this is in the adult section, called Fox 8 by George Saunders. Didn't know what it was about, didn't check what it was about, just took it home. And it's, what, maybe 50 pages? I don't even think that many. 49 pages. There's illustrations, super cute illustrations. Now this story follows a fox who is different than other foxes. And you'll see Watership Down that I just talked about was it's about rabbits, but they end up leaving their home because one of them has sort of a ESP, like a sixth sense, and he has random dreams. He can predict, not necessarily predict the future, but he can kind of see glimpses of what the future may be. Something that you wouldn't think would happen in a rabbit, and that's exactly what happened. He predicted that something bad was going to happen in their home warren, and he tells everybody, we need to go. His brother Hazel is like, okay, I trust you, we're going to do it. Him and a bunch of other rabbits leave to go find a new home, and that's the gist of Watership Down. This one is similar because this fox is also tends to have daydreams and regular dreams that involve different things that the other foxes are like, what are you even talking about? That's so weird. Stop being that way. So he always feels a little bit of an outcast. And he comes across a sign that something is gonna change in their little foresty area. And it turns out that people are building this big thing that it's a human building. I don't want to say it because it's like literally less than 50 pages and I don't want to give the whole story away, but there's a man-made thing happening, and it involves bulldozers and it involves destruction of the area. And he's like, maybe we should leave. And the leader of their little fox clan, not clan, what is the word I'm looking for? Pack. And he's like, no, there's you and your silly dreams, nothing is happening, calm down. And he ends up exploring this man-made place, and this book is basically in his perspective. He's written a letter to humans based on what he experiences going into this human place. And at first it starts off exciting and it's adventurous and he thinks humans are cool, and then things take a very sad, dark twist. And like I said, this book is basically a letter from the fox. His name is Fox 8 because in his little pack, that's how they name each other. Fox 1, Fox 24, Fox whatever. He's Fox 8. And so he's written this 49-page letter to humans based on what he's experienced. And at times it's super funny, at times it's incredibly sad, and at times it's very angering. And it's written in a way where, like, he can't spell. He's heard the words, but he can't spell, so the words are just spelled odd. And it's a little bit, it slows you down a little bit. There is this bug again. How horrible. I'm trying to make a video and this bug is harassing me. Anyways. It's a very, very good read, and I actually have now decided I'm going to buy my own copy of this book. I like it very, very much, and it feels in a way very, very akin to how I feel about Watership Down. Not nearly as much as I love Watership Down, but it has that same kind of feeling, like animals. Anyway, so this is very good, and I very much recommend it, especially because it is super, super short. Very, very good book. So I am also reading The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This is one that I'm reading very slowly. I didn't actually end up starting this until the last week of July, and I'm barely this far. I've only read that much. It is about a teenager who goes to camp and then goes missing. And it turns out that she is the daughter of the owners of the camp and the property that it's on in this forest. It's very, the chapters are really, really short, and the multiple POVs, all of the different camp counselors, the different campers who she came across, in contact with. Everybody's putting their thoughts into, why did she go missing? Where is she? What are we going to do to find her? And it's very, very engaging. Like, I'm thoroughly invested. I'm only this much, and I'm thoroughly invested, and already I am very much enjoying this book, and I know that I'm going to enjoy it even more. And it makes me want to look and see what other books Liz Moore has written to see if I like her as an author, or if it's just this one book. But so far, very, very much enjoying this. I hope they find this girl. I don't know. I'm invested. Okay, so August, I have a couple of prompts for my own prompt. August is adolescent August, meaning I'm going to be reading in August books that are for adolescents. I'm defining adolescence as teenager and younger. So, I mean, it could be a grade school book. It could be an elementary age school book. It could be something that involves teenagers. So the book that I've chosen is called H2O. And this is by who? Virginia Bergen. And actually, I'm going to be reading two books because it's a duology. So the second one will be The Storm. And this also fits the August prompt for Chantel Reads All Day, because her prompt for August is either the title or the cover has to have something to do with water. So there could be a puddle on the cover or whatever. Mine is literally water, H2O. So that totally fits both prompts. So I'm going to read the duology. I don't know what it's about, honestly. I tend to do that. Sometimes I buy things because it looked cool. Let's see. There's a catastrophe that happens, and a lot of the percentage of humanity is no longer with us, and it turns out it's because of the rain. So I'm excited to read these two. I am going to go ahead and read the next in the J. Sterling series. This one is what? Flirting with Sunshine. What is this? She finds out her husband is cheating on her, packs her things, and never looks back. She feels confident that she's surviving on her own, but at least that's what she tells herself. Until a grumpy fisherman shows up out of nowhere like an unexpected storm. Okay, that's interesting. Hopefully it doesn't start out creepy like July's book. But that is what I am planning to read for August, as well as continuing this audiobook. I did I did listen to an audiobook in July, and that was The Memory Police by The Memory Police, and here I am struggling to remember the name. The Memory Police by Yoko Okagawa. And oh my gosh, this was so good. I was not expecting it. So things randomly start disappearing in this area. I think they live on an island, and little by little things just disappear, and they're not allowed to talk about the things that have disappeared once they've disappeared. For example, roses, all kinds of roses at one point. Just one day everybody wakes up and they see all the roses that were ever on the island just kind of floating away into the distance in the sky. And if there are any nurseries or flower shops, they need to go make sure that there aren't any other roses still there. The Memory Police go and make sure that everything is gone. There's no pictures of roses. There's no talk of roses. And little by little, all of these different things just start disappearing, and people just have to accept it. And when they disappear, at first, everybody's aware that something has disappeared. Sometimes they're even aware of what it is that has disappeared for a short time. And then as the day or a few days go on, they literally don't remember what it was that disappeared, and they just kind of go on knowing that something is gone, but they don't know what it is, and they don't know the word for it. They don't know they don't remember what it looks like. Nothing. But there are a very small percentage of people who actually do remember everything, and those people have to go into hiding or get taken by the Memory Police. It's a very thought-provoking novel. A very interesting. It's a very, very good book. And yeah, that's the second book by Yoko Okagawa that I have listened to. The first one was The Housekeeper and the Professor, I think, and that one was really, really good. I talked about that one a few months ago, but yeah, The Memory Police is such a good book, and I am contemplating getting that one to keep for myself, because I borrowed that one from my local library on audio. So yeah, that is what I listened to. Now let's get back to this Studio Ghibli thing. I have always wanted to watch the anime movies. My Neighbor Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle. That's actually the one that made me think I want to find all of them, because I recently found in a little free library a copy of Howl's Moving Castle by, I think her name is Diana Wynne Jones, and Studio Ghibli did an animated movie based on that book, and I've always heard that it's just a timeless, classic, wonderful animated film. And so I've always wanted to watch it, and I don't know, I think I saw it on my shelf, the book, and was like, you know what, I'm gonna dive into this. I have in the past only watched one Studio Ghibli movie, and that was Grave of Fireflies. Never, never, never in my life did I think an animated film was going to break my heart the way that that one did. That's one of those that I don't know that I could ever watch it again because it was that heart-wrenching, but it was beautifully done. And so now that I'm thinking, oh, Howl's Moving Castle, I think this is more, it's a child's book. It's a children's book. I don't know that there's going to be anything heavy in it the way Grave of Fireflies was, but I don't know. But I'm very interested to see. So I found, I think, maybe 10 or 12 Studio Ghibli DVDs at the library. So I put them all on hold. I've already watched 2 of them. Porco Rosso was the first one that I watched, and I didn't really care for that one that much. Kind of involves a fighter pilot who is somehow cursed, and he used to be normal, but now he's got the face of a pig. So they call him Porco Rosso, red or scarlet, not pig, but scarlet, maybe scarlet pig. I can't remember, but I was going to say swine, but I don't think so. But so it's kind of about him and some other fighter pilots who have kind of turned pirates, so to speak. But I didn't really enjoy it. It was interesting, but I didn't love it. And then I watched Whisper of the Heart, which was about a young teenage girl who kind of feels inadequate in life. She doesn't know what she wants to do in the future. But she does write songs, write music, but she's very shy. She keeps it all kind of to herself until she kind of randomly starts noticing she does like going to the library. And she starts noticing that on the library checkout cards, because this is in the past before digital, so there's the library checkout cards, and she keeps seeing the same name in all of the books that she's read. Somebody has read them before her, and she's very intrigued by who this person is. And it turns out it's a boy that she has run into before, and he has been very rude to her. So now she's like conflicted. I don't like this guy from what I know of him, but I'm very intrigued as to why he's reading the same books that I've read, or that I'm reading the same books that he's read, and it's a weird coincidence. So it's following these 2 teenagers, and she starts to get more confident in what she wants to pursue in life because she sees that he's very confident in wanting to become a master violin maker. It's a very cute, sweet story. So I enjoyed it very much, and I got a whole bunch of them came in yesterday, the Studio Ghibli movies. So I'm excited to sit down and watch those throughout the week, and maybe I'll keep you up on how I enjoy the rest of them. But that is all I have for now, and I will see you in September. Bye.